Following the annihilation of the third solar cycle, the goddess of fresh waters, rivers, lakes, and oceans, Chalchiuhtlicue, emerged as the fourth sun, Nanahuatzin. She was the wife of the rain god Tlaloc, and together they ruled the watery kingdom. Chalchiuhtlicue was a powerful and kind goddess, associated with beauty, purity, and fertility. Her looks were like those of jade, the Aztecs' most prized gemstone, and her tears were considered sources of life and renewal. Under Chalchiuhtlicue's rule, the earth was turned into an underwater world. Vast oceans stretched as far as the eye could see, peppered with scattered islands that served as a refuge for life. The flooding rains of the previous era gave way to a milder, wetter climate, perfect for aquatic life to thrive. Fish of all colors and sizes were swimming in abundance, while algae and corals formed true underwater gardens. Humanity, specially designed by Quetzalcoatl for this new world, was adapted to aquatic life. Their bodies were slender and agile, with fin-like limbs that enabled them to swim with dexterity. Their eyes were large and luminous, capable of seeing into the ocean depths. They all lived in harmony with the water, building their homes on coral reefs and feeding on the fish and sea plants that abounded in the oceans. The Age of Water was a beautiful and mysterious world. The deep ocean hid ancient secrets and extraordinary creatures. In their quest for food and adventure, humans explored coral reefs, underwater caves, and the abyssal depths. They grew a deep connection with water, learning to respect its power and harness its resources. Notwithstanding its beauty and abundance, the Age of Water was a short-lived period in the history of the Aztec cosmos. With its ever-changing sea currents and the looming threat of tsunamis, the submerged world's volatility made life precarious and unreliable. The harmony between humanity and water was continually tested, requiring adaptation and resilience. After just a few years of relative peace and prosperity, the destiny of the Age of Waters was abruptly and violently fulfilled. The sky burst open, and a torrential rain of blood fell upon the earth. Rivers and oceans were tinged red, and aquatic life perished en masse. The bloody deluge was an unprecedented cataclysm, sweeping away everything in its way and rendering the submerged world a landscape of horror and desolation. Trapped by the raging fury of nature, humanity desperately struggled to survive. Some, acting out of desperation, tried to find shelter on the few remaining islands, while others clung to floating debris in the hope of escaping the bloody flood. Yet the bulk of humanity was not as fortunate. Despite the chaos and destruction, a few humans managed to escape the flood by climbing tall, leafy trees. They grabbed onto the branches as the water rose, struggling to keep their hopes alive. The transformation was inevitable, however. The powerful water and the magic of the goddess Chalchiuhtlicue changed them into monkeys, agile and adaptable creatures, capable of surviving in the trees and eating fruit and leaves. The Age of Water ended tragically, signaling the closure of yet another cosmic cycle. The destruction of humanity and the downfall of Chalchiuhtli left a trail of sadness and desolation. But the survival of the apes, descendants of those who sought refuge in the trees, lit a fire of hope for the future. Once the fourth world had been destroyed, the gods met in Teotihuacan, the sacred city of creation, to decide on the need for a new sacrifice. Darkness reigned over the earth, while the absence of a sun harbored the threat of chaos and disorder. Once again, the gods knew that, to restore light and life to the world, one of them had to sacrifice himself and become the fifth sun. Teotihuacan was a spiritual powerhouse and the perfect setting for this creative act. Its towering pyramids, consecrated to the sun and moon, rose towards the sky like silent witnesses to cosmic history. A sacred brazier burned in the center of the city, representing the heart of the universe and the source of life. The gods met around the fire, debating who among them would be worthy and brave enough to shoulder the responsibility of becoming the new sun. The fate of the world rested on this decision, and the air was tense as the gods pondered their options. Two gods stood as candidates: the rich and proud Teotihuacan and the humble and sore-covered Nanahuatzin. Teotihuacan, who trusted that his beauty and power would be a supreme sacrifice, promptly offered himself for it, while Nanahuatzin, with his humility and devotion, took on the task as a sacred duty. A great sacrificial pyre was built in the center of Teotihuacan, its flames crackling and dancing under the night sky. For 4 days and nights, Teotihuacan and Nanahuatzin fasted and undertook acts of penance in preparation for the crucial moment. The rich god Teotihuacan dressed himself in luxurious jade, gold, and quetzal feathers, while the humble god Nanahuatzin only offered reeds, maguey thorns tainted with his own blood, and scabs from his wounds. Teotihuacan, proud of his beauty and wealth, was the first to be called. He ran towards the flames, but their intense heat and sight made him step back. He tried 4 times, and 4 times fear took hold of him. Nanahuatzin then, with a heart overflowing with courage and determination, closed his eyes and threw himself into the fire. His body roared and burned intensely, and when the flames were extinguished, the sun rose in the east, radiant and powerful. When he saw Nanahuatzin's courage, an embarrassed Teotihuacan finally climbed into the fire, but his glow had already subsided. He became the moon, Metzli, pale in comparison to the sun. Nanahuatzin's sacrifice and Teotihuacan's dithering explain not only the creation of the 5th sun Tonatiuh, but also the brightness gap between the sun and the moon. Nanahuatzin's courage rendered him worthy of becoming the sun, while Teotihuacan's hesitation condemned him to the role of the moon, a less bright star. Much of the world remained underwater, and the existence of Tlaltecuhtli, a monstrous goddess who epitomized the earth itself, posed an insurmountable obstacle to the creation of the earth. Tlaltecuhtli was a frightening creature, with multiple mouths spread across its body, each one filled with razor-sharp teeth. Its craving for human flesh was insatiable, and it devoured everything the gods created, stopping the formation of a stable, habitable world. The earth trembled under its footsteps, and its roars echoed through the depths, instilling fear among beings who dared to venture into its domain. Every effort by the gods to create life was foiled by the voracious hunger of the monstrous goddess, who devoured everything in her path. The earth was a constantly raging battleground between creation and destruction, and life struggled to gain a foothold among the chaos. Fearful about the situation, the gods met to discuss how to surmount this obstacle. The feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl and the god of the night Tezcatlipoca led the search for a solution. They knew that the establishment of the earth would only be possible if Tlaltecuhtli was defeated, and for that, they would have to use all their cunning and power.